Good morning, guys. It's Chris again from the Ultimate Recycler. We're back in the emergency storage shed for another week, episode 139. I hope this isn't getting monotonous. I'm enjoying unpacking the boxes. If you guys don't want to watch, that's fine. I'm going to keep doing it. This week, we probably have more boxes of china. Remember, we had that little box last week, over $200 worth of value. A few people in the comments suggested that some of the orphan cups and saucers might have their mates in another box. Fingers crossed there. Let's go and have a look today. So a look from the door. How many steps? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 steps. And I can touch the box. That's a long way. And a few people have been excited about being able to see the back wall. There's still a lot to go and still a lot of variation. Just at the moment, we're in this assortment of mixed china, glassware and household bits and pieces. But we have some interesting stuff to get to. A valve radio that looks like a pretty cool old 70s era hi-fi. I think it might be an amp. And army boxes and yeah, all sorts of wonderful stuff. There's probably books in the bottom there. We have these cupboards to get out at some stage as well. So plenty of variation. If you don't like china, well, I'll see you in the next episode. But I'm pretty sure we've got china and pottery. Although there is an old lacquerware box up there. There's a depression glass vase. So we'll get that box down because it's falling apart. A few people like the Xbox joke, these being boxes that used to be boxes and now they're Xboxes. And thanks to Bunnykins, who was quite excited that I used their joke. So there we go. It's not an original to me. Let's get those two in on the bench and see what we can discover today. Okay, first box. I'm going to get both boxes because I want to go through them both today. This one just has some bigger things in, so it shouldn't take us long. Okay, I think this one has bigger things as well. We could get some interesting shop stock out of this. And I don't know if there's anything in this box. No, it feels pretty light, but we have had boxes like this out of that shed with jewellery and all sorts of treasures. Let's have a look. Yeah, just empty, but a nice lacquerware box. It's actually lockable. I wonder if I could find a key for it. It doesn't appear to be damaged. We'd probably get $10 for that cleaned up for a start. So these boxes could realise another big money figure. Let's hope so. Good for my bottom line. And really, I am a second-hand dealer. I need to make a profit or I can't keep my doors open, my lights on, both here and at the shop. So it's fortunate these days that YouTube does actually help with a bit of that. Here we have a pretty standard 1930s or so pressed glass or depression glass vase. Very common, a pretty standard pattern. But they sell quite okay. It needs a bit of a wash. It won't really sparkle like crystal because it is just glass, but we should get $10 for that. Newspapers, the last lot were all 2010, which was when most of this was wrapped up. And I've mentioned a few times, I don't remember if I was the one to wrap it up. There's no date on that. Or whether I actually acquired the stuff, purchased the stuff already wrapped like this. It came from I think this is a glass butter dish of some sort. It came from a place where the owners used to work at a charity shop and somehow they ended up with all this stuff at their place. I don't know the details. It may well have closed down. There's no date. But it does look a similar era. 2010. Oh, we'll find a date eventually. Okay, so this is a glass butter dish, and these are quite popular. This is a little different to normal, but we always get asked for glass butter dishes. That's quite an elaborate one. It's not very high. It's not going to hold a standard block of butter, but I guess you could cut it down in half. It's actually got a $15 price tag on it, so that must have been in the charity shop at some stage. Yeah, so it actually says Avon on the bottom, that way. So it was an Avon product, probably from the 1970s. Doesn't matter that it's Avon or not. It is essentially a butter dish, and we probably will get our 15 for that. Might just leave that tag on it. Okay, this one won't take long at all. We have a large pottery shell. It is marked on the bottom, but it's all blurry. I can't read that. I'll get you a photo. Oh, it might be Greenaway. E.G. Greenaway. I think that's English. That's a nice piece. It's large. It's undamaged. It's a very 50s pastel blue. And I guess it's pretty much just an ornament. I guess you could put a bit of it, or you can't really put dried flowers in there, or maybe some dried grasses, but they're not really going to stick up, so that won't work. I think it's pretty well just a large shell ornament. Perhaps you can stash your housekeeping money in there, or keep your dope in there, whatever you want to do. It's a nice piece. I reckon I'll get about $20 for that. A little 50s or 60s era. Now, is this a... yeah, it's a little brush set. Brush and comb. Now, the brush is more of a closed brush than a hairbrush. Oh, it's actually got an R inscribed on it. I think that's possibly English as well. There's a mirror under there. How do you access the mirror? Oh, it just comes out. Okay. So it's a little kind of grooming set, gentleman's set for brushing clothes and combing the hair. And it looks like there possibly would have been some other bits and pieces there for cleaning your nails or something. So there we go. Don't think there's much value. Sort of something you don't see anymore these days. I mean, how many guys carry a comb around like they used to? Combs just, I don't know, they just don't seem to exist anymore. I guess you can still buy them. But I always used to brush my kids' hair. I don't think anyone ever combed them. Pretty dirty, but clean up well. Might just get $5. I don't think it's really that collectible. I guess if someone's setting up for a 50s film and they need it for part of the set, it would be of interest. Here we have a mug. It's Pottery. It's Prinknash Abbey, made in England. I've never heard of that one. It kind of looks pewter, but it is actually pottery. Yeah, don't think there's much value there. We could probably try at $5 and see how we go. Another one here, what's this? It feels like another mug or cup or something. It is. It's just a single stoneware coffee cup, made in England. Langley, I think. Something like that. Would be alright in a set, a nice retro style, but just a single one's going to be a bit hard to sell. It wouldn't hold enough coffee for me. I'd need 2 cups. Right, do we have any dates on this bit of newspaper? We do, and it's 2010. Yeah, so it's come from the same lot. Right, this box is just about done. We do have a basket type pottery here. We have some apple, I was going to say salt and peppers, but I don't think they are. They've both got a series of holes. Oh, they do have corks. Maybe they are salt and pepper. It's just that you don't usually have multiple holes for salt. I think they're timber. Yes, they're actually wooden. They're not pottery. And I don't know if they're supposed to go in that little plastic crate, but I guess they can. Interesting. And the pottery piece, oh, it's got something else wrapped up. We'll get to that in a minute. I think that's Australian. That would be Dianaware. Yes, it is marked, but a bit hard to read. Dianaware pottery was made in Sydney and in the 1950s mostly, I think into the 60s. This was hand painted and some of it's come off, just rubbed on the high points. It's not damaged, and pottery like this, you always need to do a bit of a tap to make sure you hear that ring sound. A little bit of a ring, not like crystal, but if it's cracked, you'll hear a really dull thud. You often can't see cracks on these things, so that one sounds okay. So 1950s pottery, Diana pottery, it's a bowl, is it? Maybe a fruit bowl? Don't know, just some sort of bowl. Maybe $20, maybe $15. I don't think this sort of stuff really brings a lot. Australian pottery is quite collectible, and some Dianaware does bring a fair bit. I don't think that one's going to be in that category. What's in the last little piece here? Oh, salt and pepper shakers. Now these are Carltonware. We had one of these in the last lot. We had one cracked one too, didn't we? These look like they're not a matching set. These are both pepper shakers, but they don't match either of the ones we had the other day, because the other ones we had were green. These ones are cream. So they're just individual pepper shakers. I did sell that salt shaker for $5 the other day, first weekend. I'll probably have $5 each on these. And someone that's missing that particular pepper shaker from their set will be most pleased. All right, that ends that box. Let's get into the other one. Okay, the big items mean we get through the boxes quicker, which is kind of good. Here's another piece of Australian pottery. This is Lustreware. It's not actually marked. It's just got a number. Can't quite make it out. It's a bit hard to read with the glaze. It ends in a 6, or maybe it starts with a 9. But that would be Australian. I think that's possibly Mingay or one of the other 50s potters. I don't think it's Dianaware. There was a whole heap of them that did this kind of Lustreware finish. Even Wembley-ware from Western Australia, but I don't think this is Wembley because Wembley is always nicely marked. There's something written in a pencil, but I think that might have been a price. Can't really read that either. So a nice piece. It's a little rough on this piece here. Don't think it's actually chipped so much. I think it's just not glazed properly. Really interesting piece though. I know Wembley-ware did have I think it was a jewfish ornament that had its mouth open, and I guess it was a table centerpiece. So this is similar. I reckon that's probably a $20 piece, even though we can't really be sure who made it. The people that collect that sort of stuff would know. Like that Remude vase we had the other day. It wasn't marked Remude, but it definitely was. Here we have a large... is it a lamp? It is a lamp base. It's got a hole for the cord. It's got a hole there for the fitting. I could turn that back into a lamp actually. It might be worth the effort because I don't think you'll really sell it as is. And it's pretty easy to fix lamps up, so we might turn that back into a lamp. A biscuit barrel. This is quite nice, a timber biscuit barrel. It's possibly teak, it looks like teak. It's got a metal insert, aluminium insert. And that's all been made up of individual pieces glued together. That's actually a really nice biscuit barrel. I'd say that's 1950s. And it's good that it's got its insert. Bit of a cane wrap handle. That's really nice. I like that. I think I'm going to price that up a bit. It should wash up quite well. I'm thinking around about $30 for that one. Okay, back to this unboxing after a short break. I was just cleaning up some of the things we've been through, and that little crate is for the apple salt and pepper set, and they had $10 on it, which I think is still a reasonable price. So it's interesting that salt shakers don't always have a single hole. Rightio, what have we got left in here? This looks like copper. A little copper pot with a brass handle. I don't know what that would be for. It looks like a miniature jam pot. Would have maybe hung over a fire. It has got a hole for a spoon, so maybe it's just meant to be a sugar bowl. Not sure. It is rather rounded on the base, so it's not going to sit flat. Maybe there's something else in the box that it hangs off. Not sure, but I'm probably going to get $10 for it just purely because it's a cute copper pot. Certainly a bit better than scrap price. Although, as you saw with the jug in the last episode, that copper jug we got from the charity shop, it can add up to a fair bit of weight and money. That's a lid off something. I guess we've got a teapot in here. A little ornament that looks like just a cheap clown, I guess. So this is going to be a teapot. Certainly looks like it. Yep. A large, made in Romania teapot. I've had these ones before. They're not very interesting. I guess they're 1980s. They've got gold trim around the top. I'm assuming that's the lid for it. Yep. Fairly large. I don't know how many cups it would hold. And it's going to be quite a functional teapot, but I don't think it's got really any collectible value. I might just put $10 on it as a teapot. White china is pretty hard to sell. Okay, a few other bigger things in here. This looks like more pottery. 50s era again. I think that's been painted and the paint's starting to come off. There's no name on the bottom other than it looks like there was a number stenciled, 20. It looks like Raynham pottery, which was Melbourne-made pottery. A lot of their stuff came out in the 50s or so with that really matte-looking glaze. This one has been painted. Some of them were painted. It could be even English. Bit hard to tell. Really don't think there's much value there. I'm only going to put $5 on that. Fairly boring colours. Okay, oh, we're getting through it. Oh, here we have some more. This is brass. This actually almost looks like a trophy, but I guess it's just a large sugar bowl. So yeah, not very much value, maybe $5. Too good for the brass bin. All right, we have some rocks in the bottom too. We'll get to those shortly. Here we have it looks like a German type Stein, but it's possibly a Japanese one. It is. Someone's written on the sticker, made in Japan. And something where. Can't quite read that. And it says Honda. Interesting. I've never seen Honda stamped on the bottom of one of these before. So it's Japanese, probably 1970s or thereabouts, could be 60s. The Japanese did copy a lot of European China and English China. I'm thinking that's probably still only $5. I will check out the Honda brand though to make sure it's not a scarce one. All right, we finish off with some biscuit barrels. What's in here? A vase. It looks possibly Japanese again. There's no mark on the bottom. May not be. Some of this stuff can be like Czechoslovakia, something like that. Very 70s vibe to it. I think it's actually milk glass rather than pottery, because it's a bit translucent. I can see light coming through it. Painted on the outside. Interesting design. I'd call that retro. But yeah, I don't know why it's got a little mark dint on the bottom. That's just probably the way it's been made. So I'm only thinking maybe $15. It's a nice bright colour. Bright colours tend to sell well. All right, we have some biscuit barrels. This one has a fox hunt picture on the front. It feels heavy. Is there something in it? No, it's got a ceramic liner. So it's like a plywood with a ceramic liner. Obviously you need a liner. If you put ice in plywood, it's not going to last at all. But yeah, interesting. Possibly English. It certainly looks English with a fox hunt scene. Needs a little bit of a clean up. Probably only $10 or so there. It does say made in England under the lid, aluminium underneath the plywood lid. So $10 for an English biscuit barrel. Well, ice bucket biscuit barrel. I was talking ice and then biscuits, wasn't I? I'd call them a biscuit barrel, but maybe they're an ice bucket. This is a nicer one. It's silver plated trim around it. It's got a little shield on the top, but there's no engraving on it. Timber, like an oak barrel, and the lid, and again it's got a ceramic liner. So maybe they are an ice bucket. I'm not too sure. They just looks like a biscuit barrel to me. That's a nicer one though. It is just silver plate. It'd be different if it was sterling silver. But I think we'd probably maybe go $25 to $30 on that. It will clean up quite nicely. I'm not going to polish it. And it looks like the silver plating's been polished off the top. It's really got a bit of a brassy look to it. Yeah. Quite heavy piece too. So about $30 maybe on that one. What's left? Well, we do have some rocks. I don't know where they come from. And it's in a little silver plated serving tray. That looks like an agate. It's been cut but not polished. Well, it's obviously in the shape of an egg. I don't think it was. You can get fake eggs that are, the early ones were made out of ceramic. I think that's just been a stone polished into that shape. And it feels like it was clear lacquered because it's bits flaking off it and it's gone a bit yellowy. So a few more bits here. That's possibly, well, it's not polished very well, but it possibly could have been a petrified wood. And that, oh, I don't know what that could have been. That's been polished on that side. That's a nice piece. Maybe petrified wood again. Not sure on that one. And this looks like a piece of either quartz, or I think it's quartz. I think it's natural. It may have been slag glass, but I think it's quartz. Decent lump of it. And they had $10 on this. I think it's, well, I don't know what you call these. It's like for a table presentation, but perhaps this was I think these are removable. They normally are. The glass piece could have been like a baking dish, and then you sit it into your silver plated serving tray with a handle. Not even really silver plated actually. It looks like it was just decorative brass. In fact, I'm even dubious as to whether it is brass. Let's check the magnet on that. No, it's not. It's not even very good quality. Just steel that's been brass plated. The handle's even magnetic. So I think $10 is a stretch on that. It looks like it's broken the back leg off. I'll give it a bit of a clean up and we'll put that in the shop for $5. But I think that'll be a hard sell. Alright, that finishes the box. We better clean some stuff up, and I might put it all up on the deck and we'll go through our list and see what sort of value we've got here. And just before we head up to the deck, the last thing I had to do was turn this lamp base into a lamp. I grabbed a spare shade I had at the shop. I always keep shades when I find them, and that one's kind of works with this lamp base. I used an age-appropriate switch and fitting underneath here. Pretty easy to wire up. Used a cord that I've salvaged off another lamp. We don't have an inline switch because the fitting actually has a switch. And the lamp works beautifully and it actually looks quite good. So it would suit a Victorian or at least antique decor. It has a bit of a Victorian feel to it. It's not that old. It possibly is 1950s or so. I don't know, it looks European to me. I'm not sure where it was made. It's not actually marked. But it makes a nice lamp. So from a lamp base that we might have struggled to get $5 for in a matter of really only 10 to 15 minutes, and no charge for parts because I always put these ones aside, we've turned it into something that I think I could get, say, $35 for pretty easily. It's tested safe. It's all wired up now, ready to go to the shop. And now the beautiful display on the deck. How good does that look? There's a lot of stuff in those two broken boxes. So we've been through and cleaned it all up. The lamps come up magnificently. I'm pretty happy with that. A couple of things I noticed. The jug in the middle here actually has a rabbit on it. I didn't realise that when I first looked at it. But I don't think it makes it any more valuable. It's still a pretty plain piece. If it was nicely glazed, it would be good because it's kind of got a branch handle. But I'm still only going to put $5 on that. I did check out this Japanese-made Stein, and I have a feeling the handle has been glued back on. And it also has a little chip in the top there. I did find some online that weren't bringing very much at all, so we might even struggle to get $5 for that. It might end up in the dollar box. I did write down $5, bit the same as this retro mug. I think I wrote down $3 for this one, but it may well end up in the dollar box, and that's where that clown is going to end up as well. The rocks, I wrote down 15 thinking $5 each, and I think I'll get 5 for these 3. I'm not sure about that egg, and I think that's maybe some sort of either granite or marble or something. But it'd be nice if it was glossy, but it might go in a box that I have where I think I have pick out 3 for $5, and that's where the quartz will go. I didn't bother looking for a key for this lacquerware box because I think the little latch thing's broken under here. But we should get 10. That cleaned up very nicely. And I think we've discussed everything else as we went through it. Quite a nice selection of shop stock. And I think we'll get a pretty good return. I haven't actually added up yet, so let's go to the notepad and do that now. And I have been through now and listed everything out at the prices I've mentioned. I did actually write 5 for the Honda Stein, but then I crossed it out because I think that will just go to the $1 bin. I'm not counting anything for $1. It adds up to quite a lot. We've included our lamp upgrade there at $35. Obviously, I've added the shade and the fittings, but they don't really cost me anything. I just save them when I find them. So a total of just over $300, which is pretty good. I'm very happy with that. Some great shop stock and another couple of boxes out of the emergency storage shed. And with that total added to our running tally, we've just ticked over $24,000 potential return out of that shed, most of which we've actually have sold. Some of it we've actually sold that hasn't been added to that total because occasionally I keep things that I find and then I turn around and sell them later and I don't report that to you guys. So we're doing really well. Over 24 grand out of that shed. Past halfway now though, but as you can see, sometimes only a little box can return a lot of value. So will we get to 30? I think we will. Will we get to 40? Don't know. That'll be interesting. Thanks for watching. Thanks for coming along. Thanks for enjoying these unboxings with me. It's got a lot of good fun. I appreciate all your comments. I do read every comment. I'm still trying to reply to nearly every, well, just about every comment, but gradually I might taper off on the ones that just say thanks for showing us or something, and I might just give you a thumbs up or a heart symbol. But any questions or any suggestions I always like to respond to, and I appreciate your feedback. We'll catch you in the next video. Bye for now.